Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about price predictions. So I get questions all the time of what I think this price will be and what I think that price will be eventually. So I decided to make a quick video talking about some of my favorite coins and what I think the price will be. So just know in advance that this is generally pure speculation. And it's based off a few things. It's based on past and future prices and, you know, basically overall use of these coins. I've also shaved a little bit, so I'm looking like Gomer Pyle at the moment. But every once in a while, you just gotta kind of have a clean slate, if you know what I mean. So let's get right into it. So first of all, Bitcoin, the big thing. So one thing that I see a lot is these ridiculous price predictions of Bitcoin. So I'm sure you have all seen those as well, ranging from anywhere from 25,000 to 50,000 to getting pretty ridiculous of 100,000 or $1,000,000 per Bitcoin. And while 25,000 is not a particularly ridiculous prediction, some of them are, such as, again, the $1,000,000 price prediction, because if Bitcoin was at $1,000,000, it would make its market cap pretty high, to say the least, and honestly, a little unrealistic. So, first of all, Bitcoin, not that long ago, about December 16th-ish or so, it got to nearly $20,000. Now, this is according to coinmarketcap.com, but I remember on GDAX it did reach 19,800 and some odd change before it dipped quite a bit. And the dip was a lot of things. It was a lot of FUD. There was a ton of negative news at the end of 2017. And there was, of course, Christmas. And Christmas, everybody just sort of sells off their crypto, you know, for presents, for the holidays, what have you. And then, of course, following Christmas is the Chinese New Year, which is arguably larger than Christmas itself, just based on the population of Asia and of other regions that celebrate the Chinese New Year. So with $19,800 as a maximum, I feel that by the end of 2018, the price of Bitcoin could be anywhere from, again, right back up to $20,000 to nearly $30,000. And I know that's a huge difference of $10,000, but it is, of course, hard to say what the exact price would be. Anybody that says that it's going to be exactly $50,000 by then, but it's just pure speculation. So just know that all of these prices that I'm talking about are at the end of 2018, not necessarily in a few months or anything like that. So I think anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000. So with Bitcoin, I feel that a price of a selling price of $20,200 would be pretty good before another dip occurs. And why do I feel that way is because everybody is sort of psychologically obsessed with individual divisible amounts, such as 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. That really gets people's mindsets really going. And once it reaches a new $1,000 level, typically it'll just barely breach that $1,000 level by about $200. So, for example, if Bitcoin is reaching, when Bitcoin was reaching nearly $10,000, it just barely breached 10,000 by about a couple $100, and then it goes down a little bit, because people get a little bit scared. And because what you have to understand is that people are buying that at the very highest price that it ever was, when it was $10,000. And so they don't know if it's going to continue anymore. So once they get to 10,200, a lot of sellers start to get a little bit scared, and they start to sell off and wait to see what happens. So that's why I recommend selling Bitcoin around $20,200, and then I feel it'll go down to 19,000 some, and then you could pick up just a little bit more and then continue to ride the wave upwards even further. So that's my price prediction of Bitcoin at the end of 2018, somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. So on to the next coin here. And Vertcoin is another one of my favorite coins. It's a really good coin to mine, and overall, it's just a pretty effective coin. There's nothing particularly special about Vertcoin, and you might be wondering, well, then why it was one of your favorite coins? And I think that's why it is one of my favorite coins, is that it just functions as a currency in the same way that Litecoin does. And so that's what we're all into crypto for, is that we're into it because cryptocurrency should be a currency. and that's why I believe that Vertcoin is one of the better coins. You know, you can send somebody some Vertcoin, it goes through the network very, very quickly, very low fees, and they get what they want, you get what you want, and it's over and done with. There's no special ways to do it, and I think that's what makes Vertcoin a pretty good coin, in that it has a relatively low circulating supply at 43 million, as opposed to some coins that are in the really high hundreds of millions, you know, like 8 digits or even 9 digits of billions of coins. And so at one point, Vertcoin was nearly at $10, and I can't quite get the price exactly here. Let me see if I can do a 3-month here. And yeah, so it just barely breached $10 at 10.03. So by the end of 2018, I feel that Vertcoin could be anywhere from $20 to $25. So if you guys are long-term investment holders, you could buy Vertcoin now, excuse me, and, you know, set a price somewhere between $20 and $25, and I feel that you'll make plenty of profit, and you won't miss too much of a higher increase. You know, if you sell it for 22 and it goes to 24, well, not too big of a deal. Of course, you could have made a little bit more money by selling it a little bit higher, but again, nobody knows what the exact price of coins are going to be in a year from now, but we can always speculate based on what the price was at one point last year and at what point it will get in a year. So now you might be wondering, because if you take a look at Litecoin, we'll skip to Litecoin here real quick. We'll just kind of do one of these tab moves. And if you notice that in the, let's see if we can pull it back to January 2017, that the price of Litecoin was approximately $4, a little bit more, depending on the date you look at. Even February here, it's at $4. And at one point, it went up to nearly $400. It did reach $400 on GDAX, but of course, CoinMarketCap is an average of those coins. So you might be wondering, is Litecoin going to do the same this year? Is it going to go up 400-fold like that? And I just don't think that's going to be the case, because if you take a look at Litecoin, it is its maximum circulating supply is exactly 4 times as high as Bitcoin. So one might think that if Bitcoin is at 20,000, then Litecoin should be at 5,000. But I don't think that's ever going to be the case. I don't think Litecoin is ever going to reach 5,000, or at least not anytime soon, not within a year, not within my predicted date. So I feel that Litecoin could be upwards of $1,000 by the end of 2018. Any more than that, and its market cap is just going to start to get a little bit ridiculous, considering that you also have to consider that all the other coin market caps as well, they can't all be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Otherwise, we're breaching trillions upon trillions of dollars in crypto, which is not entirely out of possibility, but it would be very, very hard to do. That would basically mean that, you know, the 90% of the planet would have to be using entirely crypto at that point, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. So my price prediction for Litecoin is going to be approximately $1,000 by the end of 2018. And that's not quite 1/4 of what Bitcoin might be. But again, I just don't feel, for a few reasons, that Litecoin is not going to get that much. Again, I think the main reason is just the market cap between Litecoin and Bitcoin would be tremendous. And if Litecoin was at $5,000 when Bitcoin reaches $20,000, that would mean that they would have virtually the same exact market cap, if not even higher than Bitcoin itself. So I don't think that Bitcoin is going to be beaten anytime soon. The reason why is Bitcoin the best coin in the world? It's not. It's just the brand name of crypto. And so when you're out and about with friends, when you're at work and you're trying to talk to somebody about crypto, or when you're talking to somebody about crypto that has never heard about it, they're like, oh, I've never heard about that. Like, what is crypto? So you end up talking, what is the first thing you end up mentioning? And that's Bitcoin. And that is why that Bitcoin is the highest, is because it's the most mentioned coin. When you talk about crypto, you talk about Bitcoin news, you talk about people buying Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin at? So it's just mentioned over and over and over. When something's mentioned over and over and over, primarily, it's going to be the primary coin, regardless of it being the best coin or the worst coin. Regardless of what you think about Bitcoin, most people are talking about Bitcoin. So that's why Bitcoin has the highest price right now. So Ethereum. Ethereum is a very unique coin, so many smart contracts are made from Ethereum. A lot of you might not know what a smart contract is, and it's essentially a program made from the blockchain of Ethereum. And one example that I always like to mention is, I believe it's called MetaChain or something like Metacoin or something like that. And I seen it a while back, and I thought it was kind of a good idea. So if you were to transfer medical files from one area to another, there are some security risks involved in that. Of course, if you're in America, there's HIPAA, and I'm not sure if HIPAA is a worldwide thing, but it's basically the Medical Privacy Act, where you can't just give everybody your medical information. It's a privacy thing. It's a legal thing. So instead, you can take your medical files, sort of encrypt it into the Ethereum blockchain, which is virtually impossible to crack. I mean, we're talking like 10 to the, like 77th power and stuff like that for these crypto chains that are virtually impossible. You'd have to have a computer the size of half the universe to even crack it. Now, quantum computers, that might be a different story. And I think I hear a horn going off in the background. Apparently somebody's driving around with a snow cone bicycle, trying to sell snow cones in the neighborhood, even though it's very, very cold and very, very windy today in Arizona. So good luck on you, snow cone man, for trying to sell snow cones on a very cold and windy day. So Ripple. Now, Ripple is a somewhat controversial coin. However, it is one of my favorite coins, just for the fact of making money, to be totally honest. So banks use Ripple because the way the banking system works in the world is kind of complicated. So if I wanted to send US dollars to somebody across the world in a different nation, it's going to have to go through the banking industry, the banking network, and there are many laws around that, and with that is going to cost me or whoever receives that money a lot of money. Also, Western Union has to do that same thing. So let's say you make some money. A lot of immigrants use Western Union, so they'll go to where the opportunities are. I don't want to say a better country, but we're a country where there's more jobs for them, and then they'll send money back to their family. And this is the case all over the globe. So, if you make $50 and you want to send it back to your family, unfortunately, the cost of Western Union might be $20 to send it back. And that's a huge amount of your money. That $20 could go a long, long way in the world. So that's where Ripple comes in. And the reason why I'm particularly mentioning Western Union is that Western Union is actually starting to use Ripple. They admitted that they are starting to use Ripple. There are news articles about it. And I think that's a really great idea. So instead, let's say somebody in a Middle Eastern country or anywhere really wants to send money to America or from America to there. So instead, they would just basically give their money to a Western Union, and then Western Union would send Ripple across the globe where there are no transaction fees. Not many transaction fees, that is, not particularly any border transaction fees. And then on the other side, they can receive their money, and everything's good because right now, there are no fees to send it across the globe. For example, there are, of course, network fees with crypto in general. Pretty much every cryptocurrency has some kind of network fee. But for example, if you're in the United States and I'm in Arizona, and let's say you're in Pennsylvania, and I send Ripple to you or any other cryptocurrency, it's going to cost a small amount of money to receive that because of network fees. However, if I'm in Arizona and you happen to be in China and I send you Ripple or something like that, it's going to be the same fee. It's not, because there is no distance fee when it comes to sending cryptocurrency. So with Ripple, I do believe that the price was once nearly $5. So I believe that by the end of the year, Ripple will be somewhere between $7 and $10. And so that's not too far of a stretch. Right now, Ripple is about a dollar or so, $1.14 according to CoinMarketCap, and it was nearly something like $4 or so. Let's see if I can bring it back and get sort of a more precise price here. and was nearly at nearly at $4. So adding just a few more dollars to that does add quite the market cap because of the large circulating supply of Ripple. So don't expect Ripple to be $15 or $20, more so $7 to $10. So let's go to Dash. Dash coin is a good coin. I'm not the biggest fan of Dash, but it is a very popular coin. There's nothing really to be not a fan of. It does have a nice low circulating supply, and I like that. At only 7.8 million at the moment. And it was at one point, let's go ahead and bring it on back here, get a little bit better of an estimate here. And it was at about $1,600 and has since lost about half of that after the FUD and the Chinese New Year, January, and all that such. So I think it can at least get back to $1,600. And so what you have to understand is that there's a lot of people that are still holding it at $1,600 or at $1,300 or $1,200. So they don't want to let it go. So it just goes to show that all these prices that I'm showing you previously is what people would have wanted to pay at one point and probably will pay again if that price gets up there. So I'm guessing Dash can be about $2,000 by the end of 2018. Now, not all cryptocurrencies are going to be winners by the time 2018 comes. But it is what it is. So about $2,000, so pretty modest increase of what it is now. So what you also have to know is that 2018 is going to be a different year. 2017 was when crypto truly exploded. That was when everybody was pushing referral links and making even YouTube videos and telling everybody across the globe to buy cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency has been around much longer than that, but 2017, I believe, was the year that things truly exploded. I mean, Bitcoin went from 1,000 to 20,000. Litecoin went from $4 to nearly $400, so it was a huge explosion. But I don't think that's going to happen again, because if Bitcoin went up 20-fold this year, that would mean its market cap would be out of this world, basically. And that would mean that Litecoin's market cap, if it went up 400 or 100 times, that it would just be tremendous. So I don't think that kind of growth, we're not going to see that kind of growth this year. However, it's still a good time to really invest in the early part of the year and then sell at the later point of the year if that's what you choose to do. So holding long-term for an investment. So I think 2017 was the explosion year. I think 2018 is going to be the implementation year, in which tons of Ethereum apps are going to be coming out, tons of different apps to pay people with and receive like Litecoin and cryptocurrencies. And then I think 2019 is going to be the year of use, when it really starts to get to be used. Because if you think about it right now, and I know if you're in a different country, this might not be too relevant to you, and you're probably not a fan of, say, things like Walmart or Target, these department stores that are peppered throughout America. But what you have to do is be realistic, be objective. Even if you don't like Walmart or Target or these department stores that are around America, what you do have to realize is that they're the powerhouses of America. And I know that's a totally different topic for a different time of how kind of shady they are, but what you do have to do is just be realistic and objective about it, and understand that the vast majority of Americans are shopping at Walmarts, Targets, these department stores, and none of them accept crypto right now. And I think that's going to really happen in 2019. I think it's going to take another good year for these department stores and Amazon and these big stores and even online stores are really going to start accepting that. And I think that's going to be in 2019, and that's going to be another explosion. But I think 2018 right now is going to be a year of implementation, in which that a tons of different apps are going to come out in which to pay people. And sure, there are already some now, but I think it's going to be even bigger this year. So Monero is another great coin. And of course, this is the coin that most people are mining with their CPUs. AMD GPUs are really good at mining Monero because it's the Kryptonite algorithm. So let's say you're mining on NiceHash and you have your CPU going with NiceHash, and you might notice that your CPU is always mining Kryptonite, which is a really because Kryptonite is designed to run best on a CPU, even though AMD GPUs, of course, will beat out a CPU. And it's designed that way for specific reasons. It really capitalizes on the speed of the L3 cache of your processor. And that's why you almost always see people mining Monero with processors, and in some cases AMD GPUs as well. So Monero is approximately $494. And just to clarify, the Kryptonite algorithm does run many other coins. I mean, there's Electronia, Monero, there's a whole bunch of them. So, but it's usually Monero. So it got up to about $500. And so I think that Monero by the end of the year could be approximately $800 to $1,000, just based off of what people were paying for at the end of this year. And of course, with more and more and more people buying into it over time, I think $800 to $1,000 is not an unreasonable amount of money to think about in the at the end of this year. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little, maybe a little insight into maybe what you should be setting your selling at, or what you should expect it to be by the end of 2018. So if you're seeing all these videos online that think Bitcoin will be at 50,000 or 100,000 or $1 million, I just don't think that's going to be the case. Don't sell yourself short. Don't believe in ridiculous prices. Now, I understand that at the beginning of 2017, and the difference between the end of 2017 was quite dramatic in terms of the 20 times increase of Bitcoin, but I don't think that's going to happen again this year. That was really a result of tons and tons of people buying into it. And if it did that again, the market caps of these coins would be way too ridiculous, and it's just not really entirely feasible. So don't think that the same amount of increase is going to happen at the end of 2018 as it did 2017. But there's that, and that's my opinion on some of these coins. If you guys have any more questions, put them in the comments down below, and I always make videos about them. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.